Pizza, written by my hard-boiled eggs. Nobody knows exactly how it started, and it didn't really matter. In that kind of situation, the how is irrelevant. You can't afford to stop and ask questions. You need to run and keep running. They were people, or at least they used to be, but it was difficult to imagine them that way. Their skin was grey, and their eyes were a solid bright yellow. Those eyes made it look like their minds were elsewhere, in a constant trance. Their hair had fallen out almost entirely, save for a few wiry strands, and their noses had decayed into a single gaping nostril. But the most unnerving sight of it all was their mouths. Their faces were perpetually smeared with grins far too wide for any human. They were always smiling like that, with their shriveled gums and green teeth on full display, from one end of their curled lips to the other. Watching them gnaw into a person's neck like that, grinning with long dropped jaws as they ripped out throats like starving hyenas, it was enough to stop me from eating for weeks. It was airborne, people said. Some sort of undetectable gas. Chemical warfare, people said. Aliens. Mother Nature fighting back. But the how didn't matter. Just keep running. Then it happened to Jen. We were camped in an abandoned apartment building, sleeping, or trying to, when she sat up suddenly and stared ahead in silence. "What's wrong?" I whispered, thinking she had maybe heard something coming up the stairs. But the reality was far worse. She turned her head toward me, eerily slow, and as our eyes met, I watched her sleepy frown curl into a big smile. She opened her mouth, showed me her teeth, and then her blue eyes rolled to the back of her head and went yellow. I ran, down the stairs, out the building, going God knows where, just running, all while trying to avoid those smiling creeps. And then, just like that, everything went back to normal. It was sunny that day, brighter than it had been in a long time. Back in the city, people were celebrating in the streets. Jen had turned back to her regular self. Everything happened so fast, and before I knew it, we were at some pizza joint with a crowd of other happy people. I don't know how any of it had happened, but who cares? We won. Humanity prevailed. The how is irrelevant. I looked down at the slice of pizza in my hands. It had been so long since I last ate. I had to grin at the sight. The gooey dripping cheese, the warm red sauce. I took a huge bite, and it was orgasmic. The best thing I had ever eaten in my life. I took another bite, and another after that. My hunger was insatiable. And the best part? The pizza was free, and it never stopped coming. A fella can't help but smile.
A Slice of Life from the Pizza Psycho. Written by PenguinParallelogram. The pizza delivery guy had a wild look in his eye. He was naked from the waist up and had been rubbing slices of double pepperoni thick crust special on his chest for 5 minutes now, gyrating as though he could hear music that wasn't actually playing. He smeared the pizza on his bare skin with one hand, whilst making chopping motions in the air with a knife in his other. "Great for cutting slices!" he yelled at me, with a broad grin over his face, wiggling the knife in my direction. Terrified, I sank further back into the sofa and tried not to scream. "Say, you want to try a piece of the new Chicken Deluxe? I brought one with me as a sample," he offered with an unhinged smile. Desperate to not upset him and hoping that he'd leave sooner if I played along, I nodded my head meekly. He had barged into my house with a knife in his hand almost an hour ago. Flicking open a pizza box, he pulled a slice out and danced over towards me. I went to take it from him, but he shook his head. No, please allow me. Customer satisfaction is my highest priority. He jabbed the pizza slice at my mouth and then forced it in. Good, isn't it? He asked expectantly. I bet you'd like more. He crammed slice after slice into my mouth on top of each other. I felt as though I was going to be sick. Something to wash it down with? He said, brandishing a soda bottle at me. He shook it vigorously and then unscrewed the lid, spraying the room with it. It's a celebration tonight, Dave. You're our big winner. My name was not Dave, and I had not ordered a pizza tonight. If this is what winning looked like to this psycho, I'd hate to be a loser. He took a large swig of the soda still left in the bottle. Big pizzas mean big prizes, he yelled. $100 could be yours tonight, Dave. And all you have to do is guess the topping on our mystery pizza. He blindfolded me with his discarded t-shirt. I could hear him opening another box. To say I didn't want to try the mystery pizza would be an understatement, but I didn't have a choice. I shuddered as I took a bite. Before I could guess, he shouted, It's people, Dave! You just ate human flesh, you filthy cannibal! I puked up in my mouth as he continued. Just kidding. But I had you going there, didn't I? It's actually just beef, Dave. Here you go, $100! I heard him dance out of my home, get into a car, and drive away. Still trembling with fear, I removed the blindfold and stared down at the mystery pizza. It was topped with human fingers, and sitting beside it was a small stack of $10 bills.